follow up on not just on the nature of this arrest, but also what was the underlying issue that was being protested. I know he's been on the front lines of fighting deed theft.
Greatest American hero theme. John Chell loves this song. And before that, of course, you heard the mayor, dickhead Mayor Mamdani, talking about deed theft. And I know some people actually think it's a worthwhile cause protesting that. The cause wasn't the issue, at least according to Frank Morano early this morning. But when the cops come and tell you to do something, you do it. It's really that simple, right? All the folks that die comply, you don't die. That's the case 99% of the time. Just listen. But when you got a guy like Chell, Ossé, the city council member, who, as I mentioned this morning, is a black guy with a chip on his shoulder. I'm going to do what I want, and if, you know what, if I get arrested, I'm going to claim it's racism. I'm a victim. That's what Chell does. A lot of folks in this city do. It's gross. And the mayor, God forbid the mayor should ever, ever, ever back a cop. Who knows better than my next guest? Dear friend of mine, love this guy, Chief of Department, formerly John Chell. John, good morning, buddy. How are you?
Sid, how are you, Bill? I just want to start out by saying that story about you having to go to the bathroom outside the bar broke my heart. Been there many times.
Really? You've been to the rail?
No, I've been outside bars right in the bathroom. So my point is, I'm going to challenge you now before we get into this story about this moron. You didn't jet down the alleyway old school like you in poly prep?
I would have, and I did. I'm not going to lie, but it's actually a cute residential neighborhood, so there was nowhere to go. Do you know, it's funny you bring that up, that there's a story in today's New York Post that talks about how New York may start cracking down on public urination because people are very upset. And I got to tell you, and I mean this, yes, there have been times in my younger days I'd be drunk in the city and I'd pee on a wall. I'm not proud of that. But me, as an adult now walking the streets, I hate it. I hate, and people just do it. Now you see the homeless, they actually just defecate right there in the street. And if you don't believe that's part of the quality of life in this city, which Jessica Tisch is always talking about, you're nuts. People should not be making pee-pee or duty, John Chell, in the streets.
Absolutely not. This is quality of life, marijuana, urination. But, Sid, we don't call it drunkenness. I want you to use a new term for your listeners. It's called an ARI, alcohol-related incident.
Okay. Is that what they're saying it is now? I see. When you say, you mentioned the rail, don't be upset with me, but I'm under the impression, John, which is part of the reason why you're such a legend, that you've been to every single bar in every borough, even Long Island and New Jersey, maybe even Connecticut, like a 200-mile radius. I believe you've been to every single bar.
Look, I can't confirm or deny that, but someone just gave me up. And I'm appalled by that. But you know my spot. You know my spot. Everyone knows my spot. Joyce's in Staten Island, right?
I
you
know
the spot.
Everybody always tells me, Jay, and of course you've got your own plaque there. And what's the name of the owner? He's a good guy, that guy.
Joe O'Toole, Joe Senior, good man. You got to come out there. He's always begging to come out and hang out with us.
You know what I'll do when I go to a Staten Island Ferry Hawk game, and the season opens up at home actually tomorrow, opening weekend on Staten Island. What I'll do is maybe I'll stop by there after the game just to say hello to your buddy. I don't drink, but I'll go by and say hello. Okay, how does that sound?
Yeah, and perfect. And we'll get Frank Morano to dip into the slush fund to get your limousine right over there.
Frank will do it. Frank was on earlier today. You heard him talking about Chell, Ossé. Now, again, I got to be honest. I can't stand the guy. He's on Twitter calling me a racist POS time and time again. I've also heard from city council members that he's called President Trump a pedophile right there in front of Julie Menon and everybody else. But there's never repercussions for Ossé. See, Vicky Palladino, she's like public enemy number one. But a guy like Ossé, because he's part of the 46 Democrats and maybe the most progressive of all, and he's black. Okay, he's black. So he gets to do whatever the hell he wants. My gut tells me, John, you're not a big fan of this guy.
This guy, I wish I could use stronger words. I know, Mario. This guy is a complete coward piece of garbage. Okay, he's a performative social media influencer parading as a council person. Okay, he claims to be DSA. They don't even like him because he's a phony. And what he did yesterday was purely disgusting. Sid, I used to be the commanding officer of the 79 precinct in Bed-Stuy. I know that neighborhood. Great neighborhood. I know people there.
Oh, you actually worked at that precinct?
I was the commanding officer. I
Wow.
know that community so well. Probably the most favorite place I ever worked. And this was not about stealing deeds, which does happen and is a great cause. This was a family dispute. This is a father who is currently missing, 82-year-old father missing right now, who owned the property. Okay, the daughter was in court last week with GOC there in contempt because they can't find dad.
Wow.
This is not about deed, and she knows this. That's why it was fraudulent what he did yesterday. And
wow.
then he cried. Then he cries when he breaks the law. He pushes a cop, let alone a female cop, like a tough guy, and then comes out of the 79 precinct. I feel spacey. I was thrown to the floor. Oh, he said knee on the back. Isn't that convenient? But you know what else is convenient too, Sid? He took down all the social media posts today about his injuries. And all his little friends came running down and said, "Oh, gee, are you okay?" Oh, please, give me a break.
Oh, you said something that I saw in the video, and that is that I believe he initiated the contact when he elbowed a female officer. Is that not true?
Correct. It's right in the video. Okay. You want to protest, even though it's a fraudulent protest, this is all pre-staged. But then when you're given a lawful order to disperse, you can't obstruct what we call governmental administration. You're under arrest. And to put those cops, the New York City cops, in that position for your grandstand, you're a piece of feces. End of story.
I love that. And, God forbid that the mayor should just wait. Like, he can't wait. This is part of the reason why I get angry with President Trump when he calls him a good guy. Forget about the Jewish stuff, okay? Enough. Everybody's sick and tired of talking about the Jews, all the anti-Semites here. Forget about that. Who doesn't love cops, okay? Well, a lot of people here, but the bottom line is the mayor, instead of waiting any of these stories, even those detectives in Brooklyn, now they're going to disband that whole detective group because they beat up that guy around the liquor store. The mayor doesn't even wait. Right away, he comes out and demonizes the cops. Enough of that, no?
Because he's a rookie. And let's be perfectly clear here. He hates the NYPD and what they stand for. He is on the record. This is no surprise anymore. This is why he does this.
So how's he a good guy? How's he a guy that cares about the city? How?
Because he smiles and he's a good word salad talker.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the first 4 months into this, it's a disaster. We got 3.5 more years of this nonsense.
We're in
some serious trouble.
No, I know. Were you disappointed? And I know she has to do it. And I've been saying more and more nice things about her lately because she's done good things. But you disappointed to see Julie Menon. I know Ossé is in her counsel. So, I get it. He's one of mine. I got to defend him. But you disappointed to see her standing there as he was demonizing the cops.
Oh, all the nitwits were down there. Caban, Shahi, all these nitwits. But she's got to go defend them. But did she go up to the cops and apologize for her members' behavior? Did she grab the mic and say, "Does anyone know what Almond Charrington is? He's the 82-year-old father that the daughter removed from Georgia who has ownership of him, and we can't find him."
Do they think do they think he's dead? What's the theory or the rumor behind the father?
Well, he owned the house with someone else. He was under conservatorship from Georgia. He has medical issues. The daughter took him from Georgia a couple of years ago, and no one knows where he is.
Oh, my God.
The house was sold legit. There's no deed theft here. And GOC, this idiot, was in court with her. He knows the whole story. Yet he grandstanded on a fake issue and put the city in turmoil yesterday. Complete garbage. But here's this. To New York City, has anyone seen Almond Charrington? Where is Julie Menon? Where's the mayor?
Wow. I think you've just blown the roof off this story because everybody's talking about deed theft and whether Ossé was acting right or wrong and the mayor not defending the cops. But I haven't heard anybody talk about the missing 82-year-old father and how it looks like the daughter has taken advantage of him. I think you've blown the whole lid off this story, pal.
The daughter is in contempt of court right now because she was supposed to produce dad. No one knows where dad is. So the NYPD now is going to have to step in and do a mystery report and find this man. That is the story of the day. This other grandstanding nonsense is not a story. And quite frankly, I wish they threw him harder to the ground yesterday.
Me too.
And quite frank, I was tempted to call my own precinct to my connects and say, put him in the stinkiest cell in the back of the 7-9 and let him sit there.
Well,
I still got people on the street.
I know you do. No, people love you. You kidding me? You keep telling everybody I'm running for mayor. It's already come up once with Morano today. Lara Trump, she's coming on at 8:30. Her and I discussed it yesterday. She's all for it, but you might win. People in this city love you. You're a no-nonsense guy. So you think that maybe Menon will come out and apologize to the cops if, in fact, there is something really nefarious going on? You think she'll say, listen, one thing has nothing to do with the other. They shouldn't touch my council member?
Nah, they treat the NYPD like crap, and they're gonna reap the casualties of that soon when this department shuts down on these people.
You think?
I can't say it again, Sid. Yesterday was such a disgrace.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you. You've talked me into. I mean, I think so too because I can't stand Ossé. But now that you've given us the real specifics, I hope everybody's listening to this. Hey, Marsha Clark and Katie Honan and Morgan Mackay. I hope you're all listening to this because they're so quick to rush and defend the mayor. They think he's so cute. They're all wearing a Met hat a couple days ago, and the Mets had lost 12 games in a row.
Yeah, right now, it's the City Hall press room 9, with Katie and all those dummies is sitting there going, oh, what are we going to write now?
Yeah, exactly. Well done, Katie and all those dummies. So how much longer do you think... And you don't answer this. You don't talk. You're not part of the NYPD anymore. But how much longer does your gut tell you that Jessica Tisch is going to last?
I don't know. Quite frankly, at this point, let me tell you a couple things about Jessica Tisch. Number one, at this point, she's on her own. She's on her own. She's got to fight the fight. Number two, mentally, she can run circles around all these people. She's smarter than every single one of them. So she knows what she's doing. She's on a tough road ahead of her. And I think my personal opinion is when the budget is passed by upstate and he doesn't get what he wants, he's going to start coming after her. That's the deal.
Hard. Right, hard.
That's the deal. And it'll be a shame because, the commissioner, got some law and order back into the department. And whether you like her or not, okay, she's got the police department moving north, okay? But now she's on her own. These people don't want her because she's totally opposite of what they want. They want to give out cookies and milk to the bad guys. She wants to put the bad guys in jail and keep the city safe.
Really that simple. John Chell, I love you. This was one of your greatest appearances ever, man. Thank you so much for shedding the real light on this story, and we'll do it again very, very soon. Excellent job, Johnny. Thank you so much.
You got it, Sid. Be well, brother.
My man, John Chell, right here on Sid and Friends. How about that, Noam? Now you got the real story. Where is 82-year-old dad? Chi Ossé knew all this, so clearly he was looking to cause a scene, looking to get arrested, blah, blah, blah. When the real story is, where's Dad? Right?
Crazy story.
Crazy story. Great job by John Chell.
Thanks for listening to Sid and Friends in the Morning. You can hear Sid and Friends in the Morning weekday mornings at 6. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?